So this is a review for your mid-unit exam. So you're going to pause me, try these, and then I'll show the solutions. Number one, we're adding or subtracting like denominators. So we're going to just go ahead and start to add or subtract our numerators. So the first one, 5 plus 1 is 6 over 7. For B, our denominator is 8, and we add our numerators. 1 plus 3 plus 2 is 6/8, but we need to write this in lowest terms. So we're going to divide both numerator and denominator by 2, giving us 3/4. For C, it's out of 16. 5 minus 3 is 2. Again, need to reduce the fraction. We're going to divide by 2, so the final answer will be 1/8. And for D, 60 seconds. 36 minus 10 is 26. We're going to divide them both by 2. Our answer will be 13 over 31. For number 2, Jamie earns 7/12 of his income at Home Depot and 4/12 by his own business. So from the two jobs means we have to combine them. 7/12 plus 4/12 is equal to 11/12 from those two jobs. Number 3, you're finding the least common multiple, and you can use any method there, prime factorization, listing, or the alternative method. Number 4, you're going to be rewriting each fraction using the indicated denominator. Those should be equal signs. For number 3a, I'm finding the least common multiple here. These numbers are pretty small, 3, 8, and 4. So if I'm counting up by 8s, 8, 16, 24, I can see that all of these numbers make 24. So the least common multiple here is going to be 24. But for B, I'm going to need to do a little bit more work because the numbers are larger and there's 3 of them. So I recommend that alternative method. So we'll review that now. I'm going to be looking at my littlest factors, starting with 2. I'm going to divide what I can by 2. 15 is not divisible by 2. 9 is not either, but 20 divided by 2 is 10. And I'm going to keep going that way until I can't use 2 anymore. 15 is not, 9 is not, but 10 divided by 2 is 5. Then I go to my next smallest prime number, which is a 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 5 divided by 3 I can't do, so I just copy it down. I go ahead and divide by 3 again. 5 cannot, so I just copy it. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 5 cannot, so I just copy it down. I'm almost done here. I'm going to divide by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 1 can't, I copy it. 5 divided by 5 is 1. I have 1s in my bottom row. My least common multiple is going to be the result of 2 squared times 3 squared times 5, which is 4 times 9 times 5, and that is going to be 180 for my least common multiple of 15, 9, and 20. When you are rewriting fractions, you notice how the denominators change. I'm going from 3 up to 12. I had to multiply by 4 to do that, so I'm going to multiply by 4 on my numerator. 8 up to 56 means I'm multiplying by 7. 3 times 7 is 21. 5 up to 25, I multiply by 5. Or I can look at it as 25 divided by 5. So 10 divided by 5 will give me a 2. 2 times 5 makes 10. Number 5, you're adding or subtracting unlike fractions and writing your answers in lowest terms. Number 6, prime factorization. You're making your factor tree of 80. 5a, we have 2 and 3. Lowest common denominator is 6. I'm going to multiply here by 3 and multiply by 2. That will give me 3 over 6 plus 2 over 6, with the answer being 5 over 6. For B, I need to find my lowest common denominator, and it is 40. We'll be multiplying here by 5, multiplying by 4, multiplying by 8. I'll set that up. 8 40ths plus 12 40ths plus 15 40ths. That's going to give me a result of 35 40ths. That is not in lowest terms. I'm going to divide by 5. So my final answer will be 7/8. For C, I have 3 and 4. Common denominator is 12. I'm going to multiply them by each other and do the same on the numerator. So I'll rewrite over here. 8 twelfths minus 3 twelfths is equal to 5 twelfths. For prime factorization of 80, I'm going to be breaking 80 down using my little guys, starting with 2. Divide by 2 gets me to 40. Divide by 2 again gets me to 20. Divide by 2 again, down to 10. Divide by 2 again, and I'm left with 5. I circle my prime numbers, 2, 2, 2, and 2, and 5. Prime factorization of 80 is equal to 2 to the power of 4 times 5. For number 7, you're adding or subtracting unlike fractions, mixed numbers. You're writing your answers in lowest terms. Just note that 7a is 4 1/6, and 7d is 2 3/8. For 7a, I have 2 different denominators, so lowest common denominator is 6. So I'm going to be changing my first fraction. That will give me 6 3/6 minus 4 1/6. I subtract my whole numbers. 6 minus 4 is 2. 3 minus 1 for my fraction is 2/6. That's not in lowest terms, so I'm going to have to reduce that. So I'm going to be left with 2 1/3. For 7b, 4 and 3 have a common denominator of 12. I'm going to be multiplying them by each other and do the same for my numerators. That will give me 4 9/12 plus 5 8/12 is equal to 9 17/12. That's an improper fraction. I need to change that. 12 goes into 17 once with 5 left over, and I need to add my 9 on. So my final answer here will be 10 5/12. For C, I have a whole number minus a mixed number. This is when I need to borrow. I'm going to take 1 away from the 5, 4, and I'm going to create the fraction using the denominator. So another whole 1 is 4/4 minus 1 3/4. Now I'm ready to go. 4 minus 1 is 3. 4 minus 3 for my numerator is 1/4. For D, I have 12 and 8. Lowest common denominator is 24, so I'm going to be multiplying by 2 and 3. That will give me 5 10/24 minus 2 9/24 is equal to, whole numbers, 5 minus 2 is 3. Numerators, 10 minus 9 is 1/24. Our last review question is a number line. What you should do here is make the improper fractions into mixed numbers. That will help you to see where you make your ticks. So 7/4 is the same as 1 3/4, right? 4 goes into 7 once with 3 left over. And 8/3, 3 goes into 8 twice, 2 times, with 2 left over. So we're going to use the original numbers, but that can really help. So I'm going to start with 3/8. That's between 0 and 1. So I'm going to divide into 8 pieces. So I'm going to make 7 ticks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it's 3/8. So I'm going to go to my third one. 1, 2, 3. So right there is where we're going to have 3/8. 7/4 is the same as 1 3/4. So I'm going to divide between 1 and 2. I'm going to divide it into quarters. So I'm going to make 3 ticks. 1, 2, 3. So 1 3/4 is right over here, but I'm going to write the original number, 7/4, on my number line. For 8/3, that's the same as 2 2/3. So I'm going to divide between 2 and 3 into 3 pieces. So 2 ticks. 2 2/3 is here. So again, I'm going to write the original fraction, 8/3. The last one, 3 1/5, that's already improper for us. So it's between 3 and 4. Denominator is 5, so I'm going to make 4 ticks. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's 3 1/5. So the first one is where I'm going to have that fraction.